Strength is not endurance of pain. It is the wisdom to walk away from what hurts you. When we hear the word strong, we often imagine someone who keeps fighting, no matter how heavy the load becomes, someone who refuses to cry, refuses to stop, refuses to let go. But the truth, my friends, is that this version of strength is incomplete. Real strength is not found in how long you can tolerate what breaks you. It is found in how clearly you can recognize when something has stopped serving your growth and when it is time to release it. A strong woman is not the one who carries the most weight on her shoulders. She is the one who knows that her shoulders were never meant to carry what was never hers. There are burdens we accept out of love, out of fear, out of guilt, or simply because we've been conditioned to believe that letting go makes us weak. But the greatest act of courage sometimes is not holding on, it is loosening the grip, it is stepping away, it is saying, "This is hurting me and I deserve better." Walking away does not mean giving up. It means you finally understand your worth. It means you value your peace more than someone else's approval. It means you've reached a point where survival is no longer enough. You want to live, not just exist. Many women stay in painful situations, relationships, workplaces, friendships, responsibilities, because society praises endurance more than it praises self-respect. But endurance without purpose becomes self-destruction. And no strength grows in darkness where you are constantly shrinking yourself just to fit in. It takes deep wisdom to look at a situation and admit, "This is not good for me anymore." Why? Because our hearts want to fix, our minds want to hope, our emotions want to hold on to what is familiar. But wisdom is the voice inside you that says, familiar does not always mean healthy. You are allowed to break cycles. You are allowed to choose a path that does not invite suffering. You are allowed to walk away even if people don't understand your decision. Remember, they don't feel what you feel. They don't carry what you carry. And they won't live the consequences of your silence. Sometimes walking away is an act of faith. Faith in yourself, faith in your future, faith in the possibility that there is something better waiting for you once you release what is harming you. Think of a bird trapped in a cage. The cage may be all it has ever known. It may even feel safe there. But safety is not freedom. Security is not happiness. And comfort is not growth. You deserve to fly, not stay locked behind invisible bars made of expectations and fears. People may say, strong women don't quit. But I say, strong women don't stay where they are being diminished. Strong women don't tolerate disrespect disguised as love. Strong women don't sacrifice their mental peace for people who refuse to value them. Strong women don't break themselves to keep others whole. They know that their well-being is not negotiable. Sometimes the hardest part of walking away is the guilt. Women are often taught to give endlessly, to forgive endlessly, to understand endlessly. But endless giving empties you. Endless understanding exhausts you. And endless forgiving can blind you to the truth that some people do not want to change. Wisdom teaches you to set boundaries, to protect your energy, to prioritize your heart. You cannot heal in the same environment that keeps hurting you. You cannot grow in the soil that no longer nourishes your roots. Walking away does not make you cold. It makes you wise. It does not make you heartless. It makes you aware. And it does not make you selfish. It makes you finally responsible for yourself. The world will always have opinions, but you are the one who pays the price for staying where you don't belong. When you choose yourself, people may call it selfishness, but truthfully, it is self-preservation. A strong woman is not defined by how much pain she endures, but by how much she refuses to accept. She knows that life is too short to spend in battles she was never meant to fight. She knows that her time is too precious to waste on things that drain her spirit. She knows that her heart deserves gentleness, not chaos. And she knows that peace is not a luxury, it is a necessity. Sometimes walking away is not loud or dramatic. It is quiet, it is calm. It is the moment you stop arguing, stop trying to prove your worth, stop begging for the bare minimum. It is the moment you turn inward and say, enough. When a woman reaches that moment, the world may not hear the sound of her decision, but her life will feel its impact. Strength does not always roar. Sometimes it whispers. Sometimes it says, I choose me. Sometimes it says, this chapter is over. And sometimes it says nothing at all. It simply moves forward. So remember, true strength is not measured by how much suffering you can absorb. True strength is knowing what wounds should not be reopened, what battles do not deserve your energy, and what doors must be closed forever. Walking away is not weakness. It is the highest form of self-love. You don't have to carry everyone's burden to prove your worth. So many women grow up believing that their value lies in how much they can do for others, how many problems they can solve, how much weight they can hold without breaking. They become the emotional anchor for their families, the backbone for their relationships, the silent strength behind everyone else's dreams. And somewhere along the way, they forget that they too are human, that they too deserve help, rest, and support. A strong woman often becomes the go-to person for everyone, a listener, a healer, a comforter, a problem solver. She carries the emotional wounds of others, absorbs their pain, and fixes situations she didn't break in the first place. And while this ability to care deeply is beautiful, it becomes dangerous when she begins to believe that her value depends on how much she sacrifices. Many women feel guilty for putting themselves first, guilty for saying, I can't, guilty for admitting, I'm tired. They don't realize that constantly carrying the burdens of others eventually becomes a heavy chain that weighs them down, mentally and emotionally. But the truth that every strong woman must understand is this: your worth is not measured by how much you can endure for others. You are not obligated to be everyone's lifeline. You are not responsible for fixing every broken situation. You are not a dumping ground for the emotional baggage that others refuse to process. You have your own heart, your own dreams, your own struggles, and you matter just as much as the people you are trying to help. When you carry burdens that are not yours, you drain yourself of the energy you need to grow. You dilute your strength by spreading it too thin. You exhaust your spirit trying to light up someone else's dark world while forgetting to protect your own flame. And after a while, the same people you kept supporting may not even notice when you start falling apart. Not because they don't care, but because you've trained them to expect that you will always be strong, always be available, always be okay. But strength is not about being unbreakable. Strength is about knowing your limits. It is about understanding that you cannot pour from an empty cup. It is about acknowledging that your life, your peace, your well-being are just as important as everyone else's. When a woman constantly says yes to everything, she slowly erases herself. She loses the space she needs to breathe, to rest, to grow. She becomes strong on the outside, but fragile on the inside, holding her pain in silence because she does not want to burden others the way they burden her. You don't have to be the hero in every story. Sometimes the greatest strength lies in stepping back and allowing people to carry their own responsibilities. Teaching others that you are not a replacement for their accountability is not cruelty, it is wisdom. It helps them grow, it helps you breathe, it creates balance instead of one-sided pressure. Life was never meant to be lived by giving everything and receiving nothing. Many women feel they must earn love through sacrifice. They work harder, give more, tolerate more, and show up even when they're hurting. But real love, real friendship, and real respect do not require exhaustion. They require mutual effort, mutual care, mutual understanding. Your worth exists naturally, not because of what you do for others, but because of who you are. You are valuable even on the days you do nothing. You are deserving even when you are tired. You are important even when you say, I can't do this right now. There is beauty in helping others, but there is danger in helping at the cost of your own well-being. When you carry everyone's pain, you have no space left to heal your own. When you solve everyone's problems, you have no time left to pursue your own dreams. When you become responsible for everyone's happiness, you forget to protect your own peace. You are not selfish for choosing yourself. You are not wrong for setting boundaries. You are not cruel for saying, I need rest. These are not signs of weakness. They are signs of emotional maturity. They are signs that you finally understand that you cannot save people who are not willing to save themselves. You cannot help people who refuse to help you. And you cannot heal others while you are silently breaking inside. A strong woman realizes that her life is not meant to revolve around the needs of others. She learns to identify which burdens are hers to carry and which ones she must let go. She understands that sharing responsibility is not abandonment, it is health, it is balance, it is truth. The moment you stop carrying everyone's burdens, you make space for your own growth. You make room for peace. You allow your heart to rest, your mind to breathe, and your soul to recover. You begin to understand that life is not about constantly proving your strength. It's about honoring your humanity. Remember, you are not a machine designed to absorb stress. You are a living, feeling, deserving human being. And you owe yourself the tenderness you so freely give to others. When you stop trying to be everything for everyone, you finally become what you were always meant to be: free, balanced, peaceful, and beautifully strong in a way that does not break you. Saying no is not disrespect, it is self-respect. So many women spend years, sometimes entire lifetimes, trying to be agreeable, polite, and accommodating. They fear that saying no will make them appear rude, ungrateful, or difficult. From childhood, many are taught to be gentle, to be obedient, to avoid conflict, to keep everyone happy, even at the cost of their own comfort. And because of this conditioning, so many grown women end up living a life filled with silent yeses they never wanted to give. They say yes to responsibilities that drain them, relationships that suffocate them, and expectations that were never theirs to carry. But the truth is simple and powerful. A boundary is not disrespect, and protecting your peace is not an act of hostility. There comes a moment in every woman's life when she realizes that her time, energy, and emotional capacity are sacred. She begins to understand that every time she says yes to something that hurts her, she is actually saying no to her own well-being. And this is where the transformation begins. She learns that she does not owe anyone unlimited access to her life. She does not owe explanations for her choices. She does not owe apologies for protecting herself, because a woman who cannot say no becomes a woman who slowly disappears under the weight of everyone else's expectations. Saying no is an art of self-preservation. It is choosing yourself without guilt. It is recognizing that your needs matter, your feelings matter, your mental peace matters. And when a woman says no, she is not rejecting the person. She is rejecting the discomfort, the imbalance, the pressure, and the emotional exhaustion that comes with the request. Yet many people get offended when a woman sets boundaries. Not because she is wrong, but because they benefited from her lack of boundaries before. The world becomes uncomfortable when a woman finally stands up for herself. Strong women are often labeled as problematic or stubborn simply because they no longer say yes to everything. But saying yes to everything is not kindness, it is self-neglect. And no person should be expected to live a life that constantly drains them. When you always agree to what others want, you create a version of yourself that is convenient for them but destructive for you. You become someone who smiles while suffocating, who gives while grieving, who serves while silently suffering. No is a complete sentence. It does not require justification. It does not need decoration. It does not demand explanation. But because women are taught to be overly accommodating, they often feel the need to soften their refusal, to over-explain, to apologize excessively. Yet every unnecessary explanation weakens the power of your boundary. You don't need to justify your need for rest. You don't need to explain why you are choosing peace. You don't need to apologize for taking care of yourself. When a woman learns the power of saying no, something extraordinary happens. Her life begins to change. She starts creating emotional space for what truly matters. She begins to prioritize her mental health. She stops entertaining relationships that take more than they give. She stops overcommitting. She stops shrinking herself to fit into someone else's comfort zone. She begins to reclaim parts of her life that she didn't even realize she had lost, the parts swallowed by obliging others. No also protects your authenticity. When you constantly say yes just to be liked or accepted, you betray yourself. You end up living a life created by other people's desires instead of your own. You give away your power, your freedom, your voice. But when you say no, you honor your truth. You reclaim your identity. You stand firmly in who you are, not who others want you to be. It is not disrespect to refuse something that makes you uncomfortable. It is not disrespect to decline extra work when you are already overwhelmed. It is not disrespect to step back from relationships that hurt you. It is not disrespect to conserve your energy. It is not disrespect to choose yourself. In fact, it is a sign of emotional intelligence. A woman who respects herself sets boundaries not out of anger, but out of clarity. She knows what she can handle and what she can no longer tolerate. She knows which energies uplift her and which ones drain her. Boundaries separate what is healthy from what is harmful. They draw a clear line between compassion and exploitation. They remind others that you are not available by default. You choose who and what you allow into your life. And choices built on self-awareness are always healthier than choices built on guilt. Women who practice boundaries often find more peace, better relationships, and deeper self-confidence. Because when you stop overgiving, you stop resenting. When you stop allowing disrespect, you stop accepting pain as normal. When you stop saying yes out of fear, you start saying yes from a place of genuine willingness. A life built on authentic choices is a life that feels lighter, clearer, and more aligned with your purpose. Saying no is not shutting people out. It is inviting only the right people in. It filters out the ones who take advantage of your kindness and strengthens the relationships of those who truly understand your worth. The right people will respect your no. The wrong ones will reveal themselves when you use it. Either way, you gain clarity. So remember this every time you say no to something that drains you, you say yes to something that strengthens you, your peace, your joy, your growth, your healing, your future. No is not negativity. It is empowerment, it is protection, it is self-respect wrapped in courage. And a woman who respects herself commands respect from the world. She does not beg for space, she creates it. She does not ask for permission to prioritize herself, she does it naturally. Because she understands that her life is not a service to others, but a responsibility to herself. You are allowed to outgrow people who don't grow with you. This is one of the hardest truths for any strong woman to accept, because the heart naturally wants to hold on. We want relationships to last simply because they began beautifully. We want friendships to continue simply because they once meant everything to us. We want people to stay in our lives simply because we shared memories, dreams, and laughter. But life doesn't move according to our emotions. Life moves according to growth. And growth, my friend, is a journey that not everyone is willing to take with you. Every strong woman experiences a moment when she realizes that she is changing, evolving, and expanding in ways that some people around her are not. She begins to notice that her mindset is shifting, her priorities are maturing, her vision for her life is becoming clearer, and as she grows, she sees that not everyone shares the same willingness to improve, to heal, to reflect, or to rise. Outgrowing people does not mean you have become arrogant or selfish. It simply means you are no longer shrinking to remain in places that limit your potential. You are no longer silencing your voice to keep others comfortable. You are no longer dimming your light just because someone else refuses to shine. Growth demands elevation, and elevation cannot happen when you are anchored to people who prefer staying on the ground. People will say, "You've changed," as if it's something to feel guilty about. But they won't mention that they stayed the same. They won't mention that while you were fighting your battles, breaking your patterns, healing your wounds, and learning from your mistakes, they were repeating theirs. They won't mention that while you were working on becoming a better version of yourself, they were expecting life to get better without putting in any effort. Growth exposes the truth about relationships. Not everyone who started with you is meant to finish with you. Some people enter your life to teach you something, not to stay forever. Some come to show you the value of loyalty, and others come to show you the consequences of ignoring your intuition. Some enter your world to help you rise, while others come to test how much you're willing to lower yourself. And when you begin to understand these differences, you lose the fear of letting go. Outgrowing people is painful because the heart remembers, but the soul knows. It knows when you have learned what you needed to learn. It knows when a chapter has come to an end. It knows when someone no longer aligns with the future you are trying to build. Staying in the wrong relationships out of obligation does not serve you. It suffocates you. And suffocation is not loyalty. Silence is not peace. Endurance is not love. Some people prefer the version of you who doubted herself, the version who accepted less, the version who didn't know her worth. They want the old you, not because they loved her, but because she was easier to control, easier to use, easier to depend on. But growth requires you to become someone stronger, wiser, more aware, more confident. The new you refuses to be taken for granted. The new you sets boundaries. The new you sees clearly. And this clarity threatens people who only benefited from your confusion. When you evolve, you naturally create distance, not because you hate people, but because you no longer resonate with what once felt familiar. Their conversations no longer inspire you. Their habits no longer align with your goals. Their behavior no longer feels healthy. You begin to crave depth, peace, ambition, understanding, honesty, and those who cannot provide these things will slowly fade into the background of your life. And that is okay. Some relationships are seasonal. Some friendships expire. Some bonds weaken naturally. Not because someone is right or wrong, but because you both stopped growing in the same direction. You are not a bad person for moving forward. You are simply choosing a path that honors your evolution. Letting go also creates space for the right people, those who uplift you, support your growth, encourage your dreams, and match your effort. When you hold on to relationships that no longer nourish your soul, you block the blessings waiting to enter your life. The universe cannot bring new connections when your hands are already full of old ones that no longer serve you. You are not obligated to carry people who refuse to walk with you. You are not responsible for dragging someone who refuses to take the next step. Everybody has their own journey, and theirs may not match yours. It does not make you heartless to choose your path. It makes you wise. It makes you intentional. It makes you respectful of your own growth. Growth is not always loud. Sometimes it is silent, subtle, slow. But its effects are powerful. As you grow, your energy shifts, your desires shift, your tolerance shifts. And the people who truly belong in your life will grow with you, not against you. You are allowed to walk away. You are allowed to choose peace over chaos. You are allowed to protect your progress. You are allowed to outgrow people who refuse to grow. And the moment you accept this truth with grace, instead of guilt, you step into a life that aligns with who you are becoming, not who you used to be. Growth is not a betrayal. Growth is your birthright, And outgrowing people is not abandonment, it is evolution. Peace is more valuable than approval from the world. Every strong woman eventually reaches a point in her life where she realizes that the opinions of others, opinions she once tried so hard to please, are not worth the price of her inner peace. For years, she may have shaped her behavior, softened her truth, adjusted her dreams, or hidden her pain just to fit into a mold created by society, family, or people who never took the time to understand her. She may have exhausted herself trying to be liked, accepted, validated, or appreciated. But one day, she wakes up and realizes that none of that approval ever truly made her happy. It only made her compliant. It only made her tired. It only made her forget who she really was. There is a quiet moment in a woman's journey where she begins to see the difference between attention and peace, between applause and fulfillment, between being admired and being content. She realizes that the approval she chased was temporary, unstable, and conditional. People praise you when you fit their expectations. They admire you when you serve their interests. They support you as long as you don't threaten their comfort. But peace is not conditional. Peace is not earned through performance. Peace is not dependent on how someone else feels about you. Peace is something you cultivate within yourself by honoring your truth rather than trying to satisfy everyone else's. The world teaches women that being agreeable is a virtue, that being liked is an achievement, that being accepted by everyone is necessary. But trying to please everyone is the fastest way to lose yourself. You cannot live authentically while constantly rearranging your values based on other people's opinions. You cannot protect your peace while allowing the noise of the world to dictate your worth. When you craft your life around approval, you build your happiness on a foundation that can collapse at any moment. Peace, however, is built from within. It comes from living in alignment with your principles, your purpose, your boundaries, and your heart. It comes from staying true to who you are, even when the world wants you to be something else. It comes from choosing silence over chaos, clarity over confusion, solitude over fake company, and authenticity over popularity. And yet, choosing peace often means disappointing people. It means saying no when others expect a yes. It means stepping away from conversations that drain you. It means leaving environments that suffocate you. It means distancing yourself from people who only value you when you agree with them. It means choosing your mental and emotional well-being over their temporary approval. This is where many women struggle because they have been conditioned to believe that disappointing others is worse than betraying themselves. But the truth is, every time you ignore your needs to meet someone else's expectations, you abandon a piece of yourself. You silence your voice, you weaken your spirit. You hand over control of your happiness to people who may not even appreciate the sacrifice. Peace demands honesty. It demands courage. It demands the willingness to be misunderstood. Not everyone will understand why you chose to protect your energy. Not everyone will accept that you no longer tolerate disrespect or emotional chaos. Not everyone will appreciate your boundaries, and that's okay, because their understanding is not required for your peace to exist. Approval is external, but peace is internal. Approval is unpredictable, but peace is stable. Approval depends on other people, but peace depends on you. And when a woman learns this, she becomes unshakable. She stops living for others and starts living for herself. She realizes that her life is not a performance meant to earn applause, but a journey meant to honor her soul. Peace is found in small choices that you make daily, choosing conversations that uplift you, choosing relationships that feel safe, choosing environments where your spirit can breathe. Peace is saying no to drama, no to manipulation, no to emotional chaos, and no to people who thrive on conflict. Peace is giving yourself permission to walk away from anything that disturbs your mental clarity or steals your joy. A peaceful woman is not a weak woman. She is powerful beyond measure, because it takes strength to stay calm in a world that thrives on noise. It takes wisdom to remain centered in the middle of chaos. It takes courage to choose peace when anger, conflict, and insecurity seem easier. Peace is not passive, it's intentional. It requires a deep level of self-awareness and emotional maturity. Some people may call you distant when you start choosing peace. Some may call you cold. Some may say you've changed. But you are not becoming distant. You are becoming selective. You are not becoming cold. You are becoming wise. You are not changing into someone new. You are finally returning to yourself. Approval fades, opinions change, people shift. But peace stays with you. It nourishes you. It strengthens you. It protects you. It reminds you that your worth is not defined by what others think of you, but by how deeply you respect yourself. When you choose peace over approval, your life becomes lighter. Your mind becomes clearer. Your heart becomes softer, and your future becomes brighter, because the world might never fully approve of you. But when you choose peace, you finally approve of yourself. And that is the most powerful approval you can ever receive. Healing is not weakness. Healing is preparation for your next chapter. So many women are taught to be strong, but very few are taught how to heal. Life expects you to endure heartbreak, disappointment, betrayal, loss, and still keep moving as if nothing happened. Society tells you to be strong, to let it go, to move on, as if healing is something you can force or rush. But the truth is, healing is not a sign of weakness, nor is it a pause in your journey. Healing is the journey. It is the quiet rebuilding of your spirit, the gentle restoration of your heart, and the slow, sacred process of returning to yourself. A lot of women feel guilty for needing time to heal. They worry that taking a break makes them look fragile. They worry that showing pain makes them appear vulnerable. They fear that others will think they are dramatic or overly emotional. But the strongest women are not the ones who never fall. They are the ones who courageously choose to face the wounds they once tried to hide. Healing requires honesty. Healing requires effort. Healing requires courage. And courage, my friend, is never weakness. Healing is acknowledging that something hurt you deeply. It's admitting that you were affected, even when you tried to stay strong. It's recognizing the parts of you that you had to shut down just to survive. And this honesty takes far more strength than pretending to be okay. Sometimes the bravest thing a woman can say is, "I'm hurting and I need time." For years, you may have carried the weight of pain silently, thinking that ignoring it would make it disappear. But what we avoid does not go away, it settles inside us. It shapes our thoughts, our fears, our reactions, and our choices. Healing is the act of taking those buried emotions, holding them gently, and allowing them to release. It is not a sign that you are broken. It is a sign that you are ready to be whole again. Healing also means letting go of the belief that you must always be strong for others. It means understanding that you deserve softness too. You deserve comfort. You deserve a safe space where your heart can unwind. You deserve people who understand that you are not made of steel. You are human, with a heart capable of breaking and a mind capable of bending under pressure. And needing time to heal does not make you any less strong, it makes you real. In your healing journey, you will learn things about yourself that you never noticed before. You will discover wounds that you didn't know needed attention. You will confront emotions you didn't want to feel. Healing is messy. Healing is uncomfortable. Healing takes you apart so you can rebuild yourself in a way that is stronger, wiser, and more grounded. It is a process of unlearning old patterns, releasing old pain, and making space for new blessings. Some days, healing will feel like progress. Other days, it will feel like you're stuck. And that is normal. Healing is not linear. It doesn't move in a straight line. It has ups and downs, steps forward and steps backward. But every moment, even the difficult ones, serves a purpose. Healing teaches you patience. Healing teaches you reflection. Healing teaches you resilience. It teaches you that you can bend without breaking and rise without fear. Many women rush healing because they feel pressure to get back to being normal. But healing changes you. There is no going back to who you were. There is only moving forward into who you are becoming. Healing transforms you. It gives you new eyes to see life differently. It gives you new standards, new boundaries, new perspectives. It sharpens your intuition. It strengthens your self-worth. It reminds you that you deserve better than the situations that wounded you. Healing also prepares you for your next chapter. When you heal, you free yourself from the past. You stop repeating the same cycles. You stop choosing the same pain. You stop accepting what you once tolerated. You become wiser in love, clearer in decisions, stronger in your boundaries. You attract better people and create healthier relationships. You begin to trust yourself again. Your heart becomes open again, not naive, but mature, aware, and intentional. Healing is not a delay in your life. It is an investment in your future. The time you spend healing now will save you years of repeating old patterns. It will protect you from future heartbreak. It will guide you toward people who respect your value. It will help you build a life where peace is the foundation, not chaos. You are not weak because you need healing. You are strong because you choose it. Weakness is pretending everything is fine when your soul is exhausted. Strength is sitting with your pain, breathing through it, and allowing yourself to grow from it. Healing is strength in its purest form, quiet, steady, powerful. And remember, you do not heal for others, you heal for yourself. You heal so you can reclaim your joy. You heal so you can recognize your worth. You heal so you can rise without the weight of yesterday on your shoulders. You heal because your next chapter requires a version of you that is lighter, freer, and more aligned with your true self. Healing is not the end of your story. It is the bridge between who you were and who you are becoming. And once you cross that bridge, you will realize why you needed to pause, why you needed to rest, why you needed to feel. Because healing was never weakness, it was the preparation for the most powerful chapter of your life.